Hello, hello, hello. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Soccer As We Like It, the Man United direction. Breaking news, breaking news, breaking news. As you know today was the day, Friday. Bids for Man United were put in, had to be in by 10 p.m. UK time. But the bid that shook everybody was the bid coming from Qatar. There's some other bids which were expected to come in. We're expecting bids from US, we're expecting bids from Saudi Arabia, we're expecting bid from Jim Ratcliffe and the Ineos group. Right. So this is where we are. The first bid that came in was from the guy I spoke to you about on Wednesday. That is former Qatari Prime Minister of Finance, Hamad Jassim bin Jamal Al Tahini, either also known as HBJ, Ham, oh, Hamad bin Jassar Al Thani. We'll get used to it after a while. So it's Hamad. So HBJ is short of his name. So his friends call him HBJ, which stands for Hassam, and B is for bin, and J for Jabbar. So it's Hassam bin Jabbar Al Tahani. He's the former finance minister in Qatar. His father used to be the emirate, the sheikh of the emperor of Qatar. Right. So who is this guy? Um, this guy who's bidding with the QIA group, the Qatari Authority Investment Authority Group, which is different from the QI, it's different from the Qatari Investment Sports Investment, which own PSG. Now, this is where it gets a bit complicated. I'm going to give you a little background on this guy. Hold on a minute. Let me pull it up to my screen. So he's a sheikh. It's a tradition, it's a title, Sheikh Jassim bin Hamad Al Thani. So you have the H, which is Hamad, the B for bin, and J for Jassim. So HBJ. He's the son of the former Prime Minister of Qatar. He was educated at Sandhurst in UK, and he is the chairman of the Qatar Islamic Bank. He was formerly on the board of Credit Suisse. So that's he started following. He started. He is actually a United fan. A lot of people find that surprising. He's a United fan. He started following United at 10-year-old when in 1992, class of '92. He said if the bid his bid plans to return the club to its former glories, both on and off the pitch, and above all seek to place the fans at the heart of Manchester United Football Club once more. The bid will completely debt-free, which means they're not buying the club on a debt. He wants 100% ownership. He's not buying 20%. He's not doing minor majority. He wants majority sale of Manchester United. The bid will be completely debt-free. It will be via the Sheikh Jassim 92 Foundation, which will look to invest in football teams, the training ground, the training center, the stadium, and wider infrastructure, the fans' experience, and the communities that the club supports. The vision of the bid is for Man United to be renowned for footballing excellence. That's what a lot of United fans want to hear, and be regarded as one of the greatest football clubs in the world. That's what United fans want to hear. More details of the bid will be released when the appropriate and if when the bid process develops. That's all we have so far. So what I've told you about is who the guy is. He studied in UK. His father used to be the emperor of Qatar. He used to be the former minister of finance. So he's a smart guy. He knows his figures. Um, the club is valued at 2.9 billion. Anyone who wants to buy the club have to go through the Rains Investment Group, who are based out in New York. You have to send an email, which you need to tell them how much percent you want on the club, and what kind of majority percentage do you want. Do you want a full? Do you want a half? Do you want a 10% or 20%? But you need to just and your source of income. the Qataris will not have any won't have any difficulties in sharing the means of income. Also, the part that I did like was him when he wanted to. He's saying he wants to buy the club debt free. He's not buying. He's not taking a loan out. Da, 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 da. This guy. They've got invested properties in London, around the Hyde Park area. If you know Central London, lot Hyde Park, Regent's Park, all that area near Westminster Abbey and Central London. They own a lot of properties there, and that's an investment. Um, Sir John and Sir Richard, Radcliffe and the Ineos Group, we expect them to put the bid in. We also have the US coming through, and we also expect a bid coming from Saudi Arabia. Um, what else I was gonna say was because there's so much of this, we're having to put so much together because everyone just coming at so much at such a fast pace. We know the club is valued at 2.9 billion, but the Glazers are looking for 5 billion. And the Qatari said they have a figure, but they will not overpay and they will not be taken for a ride by the Glazers because we know the Glazers are a bunch of bloody crooks anyway. So they are very familiar with that, and the whole process will take nearly about 3 months, which will be if the bid is accepted now and everything's fine, dotted all the lines and cross your T's, club will own a new ownership will be in end of April, early May. Um, so that's what we have for the breaking news for you. Um, but this is also the pushback we're having. There is a divided fan base. A lot of people are saying United should not sell a club to Middle Easterns who are against LGBTQ, they are against gay rights, they are against female in all that, the things that stirred up during the World Cup. That why are United? So there was a group called the Fair Square Group who spoke up today and said Qatar is not a good buyer, should not be the right owner for Manchester United because of what they stand for in reference to the banning of gays and lesbians, the whole LGBT community, the colored flags. Because we saw in Qatar those flags were banned and people being confiscated. Um, so with a divided fan base, but you also look at it, they said the human rights of it, that, Qatars, they use people, they don't have human rights compassion, they exploit poor people from immigrant countries nearby, Pakistan, Bangladesh, and use them to build the stadiums and cast them, put them in the confines. And I get it. I get it. So these things will be looked into. Um, are I personally would prefer Sir Radcliffe buy the club. He's a United true and true lad, born in Manchester, so I would like him. But I think whoever's buying the club needs to do more than just buy the club and buy players. He would need to put a new a training complex. He would need to put a new stadium infrastructure. But this is what the Qatari Mr. HBJ has said. Hamad bin Jazim has said that they plan to make the club number one again, and also their number one goal is to bring the club back to its former glories by implementing that he will not be buying the club with any debt. While you're watching our show, don't forget to smash a like, don't forget to subscribe, and don't forget to follow us on all the social media platforms. This is absolutely breaking news in reference to the Qatari bid. It is the first bid in. We're expecting the Saudi, we're expecting the American, we're also expecting Sir Jim Cliff. I said Jim Cliff, Jim Radcliffe to put their bids in. They've not they've not emphasized what amounts they're putting in. We know the club is valued at 2.9 billion. The Glazers are looking for 5 billion, which is literally nearly doubled. I think if someone offers 4.2, which is reasonable, they should accept it. But these guys are a bunch of crooks in the first case anyway, so I won't put anything past them. So in reference to that, you see the fan base is divided. But if we look at it in the forum, a lot of people are saying, the Premier League needs to look into this while they're letting countries like Middle Eastern buy British clubs. But if you know London a lot, right? I'm from East London. if you know Central London a lot now, it has changed. What do you think happened to the Chelsea owner, Abramovich, who was pushed, he was hounded out? Because most of the properties and all the money comes through Russia. And all these Russian oligarchs, they buy up everything. So you got to ask, who's fooling who? The government sells all this stuff to them. You know what I mean? So you have Russians owning properties in London, big properties that the regular people in England can't afford, but they're bought up by Russians. You see big story buildings, office spaces, all being bought by the Russians, the Chinese, and all that, and the Middle Easterns. So this isn't the first time. It's not that they're just coming in. They've been doing this, and the government has allowed them to do this. It's just because they're buying a football club, a club that you support and you like. You don't want that to happen because they're from the Middle East. But at the same time, what of the Russians? The Russians own a lot of business in England. No one's said anything till the war came when they tried to displace Ukraine. That everyone, oh, we got to get them out. Then action was taken and they were moved out. That's why Chelsea was sold to the to Tom Bowling. Um, so if he does buy United for 4 billion, it will be the biggest, most expensive sports club in the world because the current one is NFL club, the Denver Broncos, which was bought for $3.75 billion. Was it pounds? It should be dollars, dollars, dollars. So I believe the asking price for the Glazers is 5 billion. But I think if someone offers them 4, they'll shut them mouth and go away. With the debt, the person has to take that debt out, and the club is only valued at 2.9 billion. And HBJ said, I'll just call him HBJ. He's got very long. Hamad Jazim bin Jabbar Al Tahini. He wants, if he gets hold of, if his bid is successful, he wants to look at the accounts and sees how much of the backdrop of United's financial history. He wants to look at all the books and see, where they're going to start from. But I personally, if they're going to come in, then that's fine. If Jim wants to get it, it's fine. Some people wanted the American owner. Some people thought maybe Amazon or Apple would buy it. But they've not really put anything in. Elon Musk is a United fan. He talked about it. He said a tweet once a few months back, but nothing came of it, So we'll just have to wait and see. But as it stands now, currently today, Friday, HBJ and the Qatari group QIA are leading the bid in front of everyone else. But I think there'll be more bids before the shutdown at 10 p.m. UK time. I'm Tim Russell Host. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe. Are we going to be Qatar? Are we going to be owned by Qataris, Saudi Arabians, Americans, or Surgeon? I'll see you guys on the next one. Follow this channel. I will give you the best shot we got. Take care. I'm Tim Russell. I'll see you soon.